In the 1920s, a man called Max Ehrmann produced a poem called Desiderata. This work has shaped the lives of many people, including my own, and yet it just has 6 brilliant paragraphs that construct your whole life. So good, I don't recommend you just download and print it. I suggest you go online, order a framed copy and hang it on your wall at home in your office for all to see. My copy is a hanging scroll in my office here. If you know your Star Trek, you'll know who Spock is and who the actor Leonard Nimoy is. And he spoke about this poem Desiderata. He called it Spock Thoughts even. The actor Morgan Freeman said this poem deeply shaped his life. Now for this chat and for business purposes, I want to focus on just one paragraph, and I'll read that to you now. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak the truth quietly but clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. The line "speak the truth quietly but clearly" I've drawn out of fresh air more times than I can care to remember. Someone once said to me that business is war without bullets, and by the time you've been in business for more than a few years, I think every businessman and woman will agree with that statement. So many times I've found myself in an awkward position, face to face with someone, when I knew what I wanted to say wasn't going to go down too well, or wasn't going to be the response they were expecting. My mind threw up the line, "Speak the truth quietly but clearly," and with that as my undertone, I just spoke what I knew, what I said to be true, and forced myself not to raise my voice, which would send the wrong messages to the listener, and spoke the truth clearly and simply as I could. Time and time again I found myself winning the respect of the person that I just had to say something uncomfortable to. So a mix of unwavering eye contact, clarity of voice, and speaking quietly just seemed to underline the committed attitude of the words. And to be in business, you 100% have to face situations where you have to do this. And now the good news is you don't have to remember any of the psychology. All you have to do is memorize the words, speak the truth quietly but clearly, and your mind will jump into gear and deliver the necessary words and the required tone automatically. Now the line before it sets the tone well, where it says, "As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons." Now I like this because it underlines you shouldn't be a doormat, letting people walk all over you, when it uses the words "without surrender." Basically that means if it's not possible to back down, then don't worry about being on good terms with everybody. However, your default position should always be to attempt to be on good terms with everyone. Now please don't never confuse this with caring about what other people think. If you're going to be successful in life, you need to eradicate that thought process. When you know you're on the right path somewhere, you really don't care what anybody else thinks, do you? That sets the scene perfectly for speaking the truth quietly but clearly. Where it says, "Listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant, they have their say," I'll go further and say some of the dullest people I've known have come out with some blindingly good ideas and comments. The last line in that paragraph is fantastic business advice on journeys to be wealthy, where it says, "Avoid loud and aggressive persons, they're vexations to the spirit." This line's incredibly wise because almost every loud and aggressive person I've ever met was hiding something. Quite often it was a cripplingly bad self-image that they overcompensated for by being super loud to trick people into thinking they were confident and competent, where the opposite was true. A lot of alcoholics and abusive people hide their loudness and aggression, which is a way of deflecting attention from themselves and attempting to identify who around them would be submissive in the face of words spoken 20 decibels higher than is appropriate and delivered aggressively. People with low intelligence become aggressive as a way of masking that from public view. So yes, avoiding loud and aggressive people is one of the few blanket expressions I admit I apply to everyday life. Now, going back to speaking the truth quietly but clearly, I can't think of a better way that when you're actually cornered by a loud and aggressive person than to just say to yourself, now speak the truth quietly and clearly. Don't raise the tone to match theirs. That's what they want. Don't take your eyes away from theirs. Look straight into their pupils and speak the truth. And 999 times out of 1,000, you'll see them wilt in front of your eyes. They often start smiling and change their behavior completely because you've shown that you won't be fooled by their act. Once you have embedded this tool as part of your armory, it can be used to great effect in other areas, such as what's known as your chicken list, for example. In business, if your business requires customers, suppliers or affiliates, then you probably need to make a list of your target market. When you make that list, there'll be people and companies on it where you think, yeah, that would be easy to contact those people. There'll be others that you'll feel intimidated just seeing their name on the list. Those names are your chicken list. Now, I'm not saying you should adopt speak the truth quietly and clearly and go out and see them or call them right now. No, perhaps you should practice on the ones you feel more comfortable with until you hammer out your speaking skills and simply get better at what it is you do. However, when you have every angle of knowledge covered in your business, when you really know what you're talking about, then yes, go and talk to your chicken list. And when you pull the phrase out of your mind, speak the truth quietly but clearly, and you and the person you're speaking to will hear the conviction in your voice and massively increase the chances of a positive result. So, click the subscribe button if you haven't already and the little bell to make sure we automatically tell you when there's another video released. And don't forget, we like likes, so click the like button. And so remember, the next time someone puts you in a tight spot, speak the truth quietly but clearly, and I'm sure you'll see the benefits. See you soon.